mighty strange thing. Gravity gives objects the way to move. Objects give gravity the shape for it to make. The internet is a lot like space, and when a lolcow exists, it attracts trolls toward it. Lolcows, individuals who behave eccentrically, foolishly, and get in trouble with the law. They often have serious mental problems. Flowers that bloom with attention, positive or negative, and they wither without it. Trolls seek to annoy, tease, trick, rage bait, and observe others online. They have a fascination with lolcows. Trolls give lolcows attention. Lolcows gives trolls entertainment. These were sources that I found earlier in my research, but are more applicable to this essay. I was going to originally include 5 lolcows in this video, but I decided to settle on just one, as they are a perfect example of the psychological and sociological phenomena that I'm going to be talking about. Today, I'm going to tell you about the internet's biggest weirdo. Christian Weston Chandler, aka Chris Chan, is the artist behind the webcomic Sonichu, which is supposed to be about a Sonic Pikachu hybrid creature, but it really just revolves around Chris and is, I guess, a version of therapy, in which Chris depicts themselves using superpowers from anime to kill people that they feel that they were wronged by, like mall security or whatever. Sonichu gained popularity by being read ironically at first. The people who read Sonichu eventually found the content that Chris puts on YouTube, or they reached out to them in various ways. Chris's weird antics, strange speaking style, emotional outbursts, and little concern for social norms got them a large following, and thus, Chris Chan became the very first lolcow. But Chris has also been wronged and mistreated more times than there are graphic and inappropriate scenes written in Sonichu. Chris has had a whole menagerie of trolls who have wronged them in the past. So Chris believes, basically, that bullies are just jealous of their victims, and that's why they torment them. And this is only rarely actually the case. What's actually happening is that bullies seek to improve or maintain their social status by enforcing social norms through humiliation of people who don't really conform to or can't really conform to social norms. Chris's violation of social norms is so bad and so far from, well, normal that even ordinary people kind of bully him. Chris does not understand that if they give away private information, it will come back to bite them in the butt. Some say Chris has never learned to just stay off the internet for good, but personally I don't think they can do that because that's like the only kind of community that they basically have. Despite all the bad things that Chris has done, they and their family insist that they're only bullied for, being autistic, and being socially awkward, which is far from the case. In general, Chris likes to take very, very little responsibility for their actions. So their view on the trolls and trolling is that they did nothing to deserve this, and it's entirely the trolls' fault, and there's nothing they can do to prevent it. Chris Chan's trolls can be quite awful. They know that he's not going to change, and they know that Chris is quite a yucky and reprehensible person, so they use this knowledge to kind of dehumanize Chris and, bully Chris that way. Most trolls don't have very much empathy for Chris. Most people who document Chris's life have a bit of empathy for them. Most don't hate them, but most certainly don't want to be friends with Chris. Some onlookers have a lot of empathy for Chris. I would say that I, as an onlooker, have a lot of empathy for Chris, but even still, I can't excuse a lot of the things that they've done. Some trolls even try to help Chris solve their problems, which never ever works. And some trolls are enablers. This quarter, I wanted to focus on strange internet hooligans and those who flocked them. At first, I was mainly focused on YouTubers that were simply attention-seeking. Later on, I shifted to YouTubers who did not know how not to get attention, and I thought that was more interesting. It really, really fascinates me how somebody like Nikocado Avocado can can try so hard in all of his videos to amass a following and to amass an audience, but all Chris Chan has to do is make a video about how Shigeru Miyamoto, the president of Nintendo, is evil for not making a Sonichu video game. It'll blow up, and people will pay attention to him. People will troll them. In other words, how does Chris attract trolls? Just by being their wacky, natural self. I thought this research question would be an interesting shift. I don't know why, so it leaves more questions than answers. Why do you think some people have anti-charisma? Um, yeah, alright, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching, and have a good night. shot?
No.
Um, Now, that was sad. See, when I first learned about Chris, I felt really bad for them, but as time went on and I learned more and more about the guy, my empathy kind of started to wane, which is apparently common. Um, Here is a chart showing people's empathy for Chris over time from the Wikipedia. Hold on. To illustrate what I mean, I'm going to speed run a list of some of the really bad and sometimes illegal things that Chris has done. Here we go. Abusing their pets, drawing inappropriate pictures of female friends, anti Semitic hate crimes, macing a GameStop employee and sending death threat letters to Sega due to Sonic's arms being the wrong color in the new game, manipulating fans for financial gain, being kicked out of over 20 restaurants for harassing women, begging fans for money online only to spend it on Legos, pathological lying, being a misogynist and a misandrist at the same time, not bathing, blackface, using welfare money to buy video games and sex toys when he. Let's edit this one out. I don't want to put this one in. He's gross. Kissing strangers, public indecency, loitering, gaslighting, temper tantrums, hitting people with their car on purpose, vilifying anyone who disagrees with them, catfishing, scamming fans by selling, in quotes, scamming fans by selling items and never actually sending the item to them and just collecting the money, homophobia, and Oedipal shenanigans.